Okay, let's call the meeting to order, the Warminster Township Board of Supervisors for Thursday, January 20th, 2022. Let's all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all our brave servicemen and women and civilians serving overseas. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll open up with some announcements. I just want to, I have a couple. One that we had an executive session previous to this meeting, and the topics were personnel issues and some litigation. I think that covers everything, right, Scott?
Yep.
Okay. And I'd like to welcome the Weiss group to Warminster Township. Welcome to our community. Mark and I attended the soft opening ribbon cutting yesterday. And boy, is that store beautiful. I'll tell you, they did a really nice job in there. And, welcome to the community, and we hope they get plenty of support. Thank you. That's all I have. Kathy?
I have no announcements this evening, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mark?
Okay, I'll jump right in there, Mr. Chairman. First, being we're on the subject of grocery stores, I want to thank our friend Joe Cowie from the Cowie Family ShopRite, who's really stepped up to the plate again for Warminster. He's pledged a $10,000 commitment to Warminster Day, the main event sponsor, once again, which he's been for the past several years.
Yep.
And he's also doing a fundraiser for our Park and Rec right now over at the store, which he's raising the money that we can put a canopy over our safety town over at the park, which hopefully we'll be able to dedicate that this spring. And hopefully, maybe we can have Joe in at some point and thank him. But
Absolutely.
really a huge
Absolutely.
commitment to the community.
Yeah.
So
Joe does a wonderful job.
I wanted to make sure I mentioned Joe.
Excellent. Thank you.
And I just have a few Park and Rec announcements.
Okay.
Number one, Christmas tree recycling. Don't forget to recycle your Christmas tree at Warminster Community Park. Evergreens will be accepted till January 31st. This is a big one, the wine and cheese designer bag bingo. Due to the rising COVID numbers, we are postponing the wine and cheese till Friday, April the 1st. All currently purchased tickets and sponsorships will be honored. We're still in need of some sponsors and players for this event. Register online at warminstertownship.org, special events. COVID kits. I think I talked to Joe Velton before the meeting that they were giving COVID kits out at the park today, which Joe told me went tremendously, that they moved the cars right along and the police were great. The rapid test kits will be at the community park on Thursday, the 27th, and February 3rd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Persons must enter the park at Veterans Way and follow the traffic loop drive-through service. But from what I was told, it moved along pretty quick. So if you're looking for tests, that's a way to get them. We're also seeking event sponsors for the Park and Recreation is busy planning the 2022 community events such as Spring Slush Road Rally, which I'm interested in this year. I just found out what that's all about. We'll talk about that more. Okay. The Egg Scramble, the Rubber Ducky Regatta, and the VFW Memorial Day celebration, which we will be doing our parade this year along with our terrific ceremony that we have here every year. So we look forward to seeing everyone there. Anyone that's looking for new programs coming out in March, check the website and events and summer camp activities for warminstertownship.org, special events. Dog licenses in Bark Park, 2022 dog licenses are for sale at Park and Rec office from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. PA law requires that all dogs over the age of 3 months must be licensed and have rabies vaccination. Park winterization. All park buildings, restrooms, water fountains have been shut down for the season. Porta potties are available at Kemper and WCP. Park office restrooms are also available during business hours. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. It seems no matter who is the liaison, there's a laundry list, right?
It's not a problem, always glad.
That's great. Okay, Judy.
Yeah, I wanted to remind people that Ben Wilson Activity Center is only open 3 days a week still. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. For the next 2 weeks, as precautionary action, they have closed from January 10th through January 24th, right? And if anything changes, it'll be on their Facebook page. And there's been a lot of activity changes, so just check their website from time to time if you're interested in anything at the Ben Wilson Center. Thank you.
Okay, and last but not least, Janice?
No announcements?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to presentations. Maybe before we get to the Municipal Authority presentation, Joe, do you want to mention something about what happened today and the next, and anything else you might want to add as far as our emergency management? Joe Velton?
Yeah. So the COVID distribution went off today, and it was just a phenomenal effort on Bucks County Emergency Management and with coordination of our Public Works Department for staging all the traffic mitigation, the cones and stuff. That was all laid out perfectly. Our Warminster police officers managed the traffic intersection at Johnsville and Street. It was backed up. It got backed up. We were expecting that, but they were on top of it. The MERT officers, the Bucks County Officer Group Task Force that came in, they managed the site extremely well. Car wheels didn't stop moving the whole time. So we've got times from, it took 15 minutes to 19 minutes to go from the park entrance and through, so that, which was really impressive. But they moved 4,500 cars through today.
Wow.
And they gave out 18,000 kits.
Wow.
So it was really an all hands on deck and great effort by everybody. And I thought the community response was good too.
Great.
So I just wanted to touch base with that. We just ended it about an hour ago.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. And thanks to the police and everyone that handled that. It was, my wife went over to get fuel today at Costco, and she said it was all backed up, but she said it moved right through. So
Yep.
that was great.
And last but definitely not least, Karen and Kathy over there in the office. They had the office open by 7 a.m. at least, and we were able to use the Park and Rec building for we had a briefing before. It was a place to get warm because it was cold today. They were just great in offering the whole place and the plan. It was really a good job on their
Great,
part too.
great. Thanks to
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Okay. We have a presentation from the Municipal Authority. I'd like to invite up Tim Hagee and Dalton George. How are you tonight, Tim? Dalton?
Doing well, thank you. We were here in November. There's been some significant changes that have progressed since we were here, so we're going to start with the major issue. And again, I'm Tim Hagee, I'm the General Manager of the Authority. Dalton's the Assistant Manager of the Authority, and he's spearheading the stormwater management. So, Dalton?
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Board, for having us this evening. So as Tim had mentioned, we were here back in November. Some things have happened on the stormwater front that we want to make the residents aware about. So we've been communicating to the residents all year long on what stormwater is and the importance of stormwater. Tonight we're going to kind of talk more indirect on the fees of stormwater. So just as an overview, the finalization of the transfer was done in April of 2021 between the Township Board and the Authority Boards. We have a lot of pipe, just over 268,000 linear feet, a lot of storm drains, and a lot of outfalls. We continue to have our three-step evaluation for operation and maintenance. For us, we value this. We have TV'd over 13,000 feet of pipe this year so far. We have jetted debris for over 9,000 feet of pipe. So we value the maintenance of the facilities. And as we had mentioned, we're going to clean and assess so we can prioritize the upgrades. We're going to continue for future maintenance programs. And then as we're going to mention, planning for future capital projects for the large projects. And most importantly, there is a true service being provided here. As I mentioned back in November, we have responded to over 128 work orders in our first year of managing the stormwater system. So as on the next slide, you'll see, as an example, if you would head right to our website, there is an avenue to be able to submit a repair request form right on the website. If you do not have access to the internet, you can always call us and we can help you out. And either get that submitted for you or just tell us where the problem is and we can send a crew out there right away. Again, why authority ownership? This is what we do. The pipe maintenance and infrastructure improvements, the wastewater, potable water, stormwater, the water and regulatory compliance with EPA and DEP, and most importantly, a consistent, steady funding method. As we had mentioned, 2021 was a very busy year. I still remember when our phone rang that first day in April and we were told we have 2 days to fix an inlet, and Morrissey's coming right by and paving it no matter what. So we've been hitting the ground running since April. We have finalized our impervious area calculations. We had developed our rules, regs, and rates. We got our stormwater fee resolution adopted by WMA board in December. We finalized our pollutant reduction plan that we were able to submit to DEP, and we actually got our permit as of last Friday, which is pretty significant because Warminster has not had a permit in about 5 years. So it's pretty significant there.
That's a good thing.
That is.
That's a shocker.
Yeah.
So this is the exact screen. So we did send the letter out in December on highlighting what the fee breakdown and how you can view your impervious surface calculation. The calculation was done by the county map from 2015 Delaware Valley Regional Planning flyover. Typically, it's done every 5 years, but we anticipate with COVID that could have been delayed because the new set of maps have not been released. There was 74 million square feet of impervious surface that we calculated. Please note, public sidewalks and public roads are not calculated into that number. So again, 74 million square feet is the number we are working off of. This is the screen that will be available as soon as you click the impervious surface map. Please note, right down at the bottom, there is a link that you can click and it will enlarge the map for you. So the ERU method, so we took the average of all residential parcels within the township. That happened to be 3,000 square feet was the average residential. So ERU is equivalent residential unit. And, but we also came up with for us, we thought was a pretty fair tier method. So as you can see here, tiers 1 through 5 captures impervious surface from 0 all the way to 6,999 square feet. So these residents are paying a fixed rate of $14 a month or less, which is 94% of all parcels in the township. Any parcel over 7,000 square feet, you take your total impervious area, divide it by 3,000 square feet, which is your ERU, and then you're timesing it by the $10 rate of the ERU. So again, this is all on the website under the impervious surface map viewer. You can click your parcel and it'll show what tier you're in and your monthly charge. And keyword there is parcel. We are billing parcel owners. So if you are in a duplex, you may have to consult with your landlord to see who gets that bill. Here's just an example of what you would view on the website. This is just pulled from Log College Drive. You can see the difference in square footages for each of the houses. We use 988 as an example, and the blue is a little hard to read there, but it just shows the parcel number, the total square footage of impervious surface, what tier you're in, and the monthly charge for your tier. And we know technology is not 100% perfect. We live and die by it. So we feel like the appeal process is very important within this whole entire process, where we know things could be mismarked, and as Mr. Kenner can attest to with GIS, and there could be shadows that could be marked as impervious. So this happened to be an example of 716 Mason Drive, which was just mismarked by a touch. So we were able to fix that manually and reproduce that for an updated fee for that resident. Our credit program, we just wanted to make sure we got our billing off and running without a hitch. Credit program will be available later this summer. Just some pictures as examples of the programs we're going to put out there. Trying to adopt an inlet. As you saw, we have a lot of inlets around here. We try to hit the problem areas before the big rainstorms, but trying to oblige that you would keep the inlet near your house somewhat clean. We'll get some type of discount off of your bill. Connecting downspouts into planter boxes, rain gardens, and even eliminating curb cuts could be a discount. And then this is more for the industrial commercial side. A lot of people don't know this is put in during development. So on your left-hand side is an underground detention facility, and then on your right-hand side is an outside stormwater basin. Some of the capital improvements and where we intend to get some of the work done. We continue to work with Andrew and the public works staff with the road paving program, and our water staff within the water main work, so we can get ahead and start to inspect the inlets and pipe. We believe the basins, Tennyson, Ben Wilson, and Meadow Glen, to get in there, clean them out, see if we can expand them. The township only has 7 stormwater basins that they manage, so that's pretty important to make sure they're working properly. And then we're hoping to get into stream bank restoration later this year. We will always be aggressive with the grant opportunities, but everybody knows it's a very competitive process. We applied for a DCD watershed grant in May. We were not successful in getting that. And just as a number for the board, how competitive this is $84 million in projects were submitted, only $10 million were awarded. So it's a very, very competitive process for the grant opportunities, but we will continue to apply for them. And as mentioned to the board back in November of the speed bump, as Mr. McKee had mentioned on Centennial Road, this was the decaying pipe. And the bottom picture, once again, that was pipe laying directly on top of our water main, which is never a good thing. So as promised, we were able to get it in and out of here in 2.5 days. On your left-hand side is what was left of that pipe that we removed. On your right-hand side, we actually had to lower the water main. We replaced a section of the sewer line, and that is a 30-foot section of pipe, which was nice that we were able to get it in the ground without any joints. And then just a picture here of it getting installed, and final paving will be completed in the spring.
Dalton, that was done very efficiently. You guys were you and your contractors were very efficient. In and out of there with a quickness, no disturbance, everything was really, really done well.
That's what we hope, yeah.
I live on Centennial, right in front of where the paving was going on, and I have to say, it was phenomenal planning on your part. It was easy access to get in and out of the development. People weren't complaining about it, and I was amazed at how fast you fixed it, because that pipe was totally deteriorated.
Yes, it
So It
was.
was amazing,
Yep,
so
yep.
I want to thank you for all your crew. You did an amazing job.
Yes, ma'am, yep. And we have the coordinates marked, so that way when we do come in and have to replace water main, we know where the joints are on either side of that, so we never have to touch that again, which is very
That's
important
great.
for us.
Thank you.
And that is all I have for my portion.
Okay, thanks, Dalton.
Dalton, thank you.
Yes.
Tim, General Manager, your turn.
Administration and customer relations, we are working on some significant changes to our software, our billing program. We have a company we're working with called Invoice Cloud. We've been working with them for a little bit. We have some work to do in-house before it can roll out. We're hoping that can roll out in May. It just modernizes the billing process. You'll be able to, 2 clicks on your phone, pay your water, sewer, stormwater bill. So it's going to be much more customer friendly. I will tell you again, we have monthly billing upon request. That'll be easier for you to do with the new software upgrade. But we're working on modernizing our software and trying to enhance the customer experience. It is water main break season with this really, really cold weather, changed temperatures really quick. You know, Tony Grandinetti's here, our water superintendent. I think it was Saturday into Sunday. They were out 16 hours straight. It was 7 degrees out. Unfortunately, they had 3 water main breaks in a row, which is very extraordinary for us. But one thing that can help out is if the customers update their emergency numbers. People are getting rid of their landlines. So if the customer update, because we call everybody on that's going to be affected, but we don't have everybody's number since they're changing to cell phone numbers, or they just haven't updated it. It's helpful to us because the actual crew that's working on it has to stop what they're doing to answer that phone call, that emergency call coming in. So if we get your phone number ahead of time, we call you, say there's a water main break, there's going to be disturbance. So it would be helpful for all of us. Water quality, we always got to stress water quality with the issues that we've gone through with the military bases and their firefighting foam contamination. As you know, we switched over entirely to North Wales Water in 2016. 90% of all the water we get comes from the Forest Park plant, and the remaining 10%, we have 2 wells now that we're utilizing with treatment. PFAS goes out at non-detect. Other providers do not do that. It's not a requirement to be non-detect, but our board believes that we shouldn't send any more of that contaminant to any of our residents.
Thank you.
We have, so the board knows, we have continuing litigation with a law firm. It's a consolidated litigation. It's in South Carolina right now. It's beginning, but this process takes such a long time to get done. A&G Stormwater, I think we talked about this in November, but it's very important. One of the things that happened was the DEP put a do not consume in the Little Neshaminy Basin for fish, because they found really high levels of PFAS in fish. So these military bases are really not treating any of their problems to any great extent. But this treatment system that the Warminster Authority installed through a cooperative agreement with the Air National Guard takes water that used to go out between 5,000 and 6,000 parts per trillion. Now the advisory level is 70 parts, and it goes essentially goes right out. It goes to Park Creek, goes right out to the Little Neshaminy Creek. So Little Neshaminy comes right through Warminster. The authority is taking the lead. This is probably one of the only stormwater treatment systems that are based like this in the nation. There's only a couple. So we're cleaning up that water. Water that goes down the Little Neshaminy goes to water treatment facilities out in Neshaminy. So it helps with the water being provided to the customers downstream. 2022 capital improvements. We have a $18.6 million operating budget. We have a more than 50%, $9.6 million capital budget. We are heavy capital intense business. We're replacing water mains. We're going to replace all of Ivy Street, Fur Street, and Allen Lane. I know Ivy and Fur is on the paving project for the township, so we're going to stay ahead of that. We're going to do portions of Olive, Florence, Jamison, 9th, and Ann Lane. We hope to get all these done. Pricing is just crazy for pipe right now. Just trying to get the pipe is tough. So we're hoping we can get all those water mains replaced. As I said, we've had a little rash of water main breaks here above normal. We continue to need to replace the old cast iron with the stronger, longer-lasting ductile iron pipe. New water mains, we're going to do a Kirk to Newtown. That's going to go through the community park. That's going to help with our disinfection in the summer. We're struggling because we don't have our wells online anymore. We had disinfection at each one of those that we added into the system. We're going to do Walter Road water main. That's part of Myriad, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. But that should be the last road in Warminster that residents don't have access to a water main. So that's a significant milestone for us. We're going to do a low-pressure sewer main extension on Kirk Road to serve some additional properties going out to where Newtown Road used to connect. Sewer pump station upgrades. Sewer pump station 8. Sewer pump station 8 starts about at Hidden Woods, and it will go west on County Line to Norristown, then down Norristown to about Meadow Glen. That's a very significant project for us. We continue to do force main replacements. We continue to upgrade these systems, and I told you, we have a lot of capital work to do, and we continue to do every year. We do, as we do with the water main replacement, we renew the sewer lines with a slip lining that doesn't disturb all the roadways. This next map, the blue highlighted roadways are ductile iron. The reddish orange color are the roads that we hope to replace or put in new water mains next year. MIRIA, Military Installation, Remediation, and Infrastructure Authority is very, very important to us and to the community. We got a $5.4 million grant awarded to us. It's a reimbursable grant that allowed us in Q4 to do a 0 water usage charge. We're going to continue through Q1 and Q2 of 2022, and depending on how much of that funding is used up, Q3 will have a reduced charge. But in total, for an average residential user, we should be saving the customers about $275. I'll be happy to take any questions.
I just have a couple comments. First of all, so grateful that we have gotten into this agreement with the Municipal Authority, because since we did that, you're doing all of these water mains that have not been addressed. We have got all the impervious surfaces that you've been working on. I mean, you have a myriad of issues that you're working on, and it's very visible in the township. And I also went on the website. It's very, very user-friendly. I like the information that you sent out to all the residents so they can designate what impervious surfaces they have and what they can do to help that issue in the township with our stormwater management. So I just want to give a big shout out, because you guys are doing an amazing job. You've gone above and beyond any water authority that I have ever seen, and I have heard nationally of the improvements that you've done. We are safe with our water because of the work that you do, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much for the kind comments. The stormwater, Dalton and I talk about it. We can't manage Ida, but what we want to do is be able to manage the lesser storms and make sure that infrastructure is working as effectively as it possibly can. So again, I appreciate those very nice
especially
comments.
when our stormwater's been neglected for such a long time, for a lot of various reasons. But engineers, people like myself that are involved in this type of business, we understand that it's not just turning your faucet on and flushing your toilet and things just come out and go away. There's a lot of in between that really is, there's a lot of engineering. And by the way, I was over at the invite of the Air National Guard, and what a nice facility that is. It's as far as the cutting edge surface water, stormwater treatment system that you guys put in. That's incredible to see that. And to reduce the amount of discharge coming off that base by tens of thousands of parts per trillion is quite a feat. And you guys should be commended for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Good job.
Anything else?
I just had a quick comment. I neglected to mention this at reorg, and maybe you could touch on it. I just wanted to thank David Bailey for his many, many years of service. You served with Dave a lot longer than we did, so I don't know if you wanted to mention Dave.
Dave, we finally calculated Dave's service is about 43 years.
And for the public, Dave Bailey is a resident who served on the Municipal Authority Board for this many years.
Yeah.
And Dave was just a top-notch member of the board. He cared so much about the community. He served on a lot of boards. He was a very busy man. What a gentleman. What a tremendous asset to the authority. It was really odd, our January meeting, not to have him there.
Yeah, I meant to mention that at reorg.
Yeah, we had a little going off for Dave, but I didn't mention it here either. That was neglect on my part, so, you know, it was a pleasure working with him. He was a true gentleman and did look out for the best interest of the residents, you know, which is nice in these times.
He was a fantastic asset for the community.
Hopefully, we'll see him over at the golf course.
Good point, Mark.
Mr.
Thanks for
Chairman,
bringing that up.
Thank you.
I have
Thank
just
you.
one question. Maybe it's for Dalton instead of Tim, but just so everybody knows, and I don't know the answer to this, maybe Dalton can chime in, but the definition of impervious coverage for their fee calculations, I'm not sure if you're following the zoning ordinance, the township stormwater ordinance, or you have your own. But I can see down the road, if that's not made public, I'm sure it is maybe on your website, that if someone's charging a fee and then they come in for land development, they come in for a building permit, and they're gonna point to maybe a different definition of impervious coverage. So if you don't have the answer, that's fine, but I don't know if you're following, you know, the definition per DEP or stormwater ordinance.
We adopted those rules and regulations.
The same as ours then, so it's the same across the board. Perfect. Okay.
Because you guys have the enforcement of the stormwater.
Yeah, I just didn't need a different definition, and
Trying to keep it out.
I'm gonna get those calls. All right, thank you.
Yeah, so we still have the burden of enforcement, and you guys have the knowledge and the capabilities to do the maintenance, which is a nice symbiotic relationship. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, land use matters.
Road program.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm moving along too quickly.
Poor Andrew.
Yeah, poor Andrew. All right, Andrew, you're up, the Public Works Director. And is Aaron here too?
Cheers.
Hey, Aaron.
There you are.
Baja.
Okay, hi, Aaron.
Almost got out of it.
You're not that
Not
lucky.
All right, so me and Aaron here to discuss the ADA ramp program and the road program for 2022. Begin with the ADA ramp program, because it's probably the easier of the two. Last year, no ramps were completed as part of the 2021 road program. So we phased those ramps out that were impacted last year into a three-phase program. This year, we will be approaching phase one of that. It'll be approximately 70 ramps. Gilmore will do the engineering, and we'd like to put that out to bid in the near future. Aaron will probably have better grasp of the bid dates, and advertisement dates, but that's the plan.
Okay.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Will you be doing the ADA corners and the proposed roads that we're paving this year?
That will be phased in to it'll be added, so it'll then be phased into the ramps that we have to do from last year.
So we're gonna pave more roads and not do the ADA corners again? That's my question.
Some of the roads, yes. Some of them will be adjacent to roads that we already paved, so we already intended to do those
Okay.
ramps. And then my plan for the road program was, which I'll get to next, will kind of alleviate the amount of ramps that we'll be adding to the program.
Because I'd just like to get back to seeing roads that we're paving, ADA corners being done as we're.
We
Well,
will,
common
but
sense.
we can't do them all this year, I
Right.
mean, unless you change the funding. We actually can get them all done, but I don't think the funding's there, so
Right.
it was my recommendation that we start with last year and we work towards that. As the funding changes, or more, if the bids come in, we'll keep adding, not only to the paving program like we did last year, but more ramps. But that's something that I would have to come back, present it, Andrew and I would have to discuss it for more funding. But right now, we're gonna start with last year, and I don't think it's fair to have people last year that we promised we'll come back and do them, and then stick other roads in front of that. So we'll start back with what was done last year and work through the phasing.
So it's easy to do when you have 3 miles of road to pave, but
Right.
what we're going to do, we're going to be aggressive, because this road paving program, I mean, it took 25 years or 23 years for my neighborhood to get repaved. So this is what we don't want to do anymore.
Right.
We don't want to, and not only that, Mark, and you know as well as I do, it's an unfunded mandate.
Yeah.
And we are going to do them, and they've developed a plan, a nice phased plan. And, you know, on top of that, when you have responsible contractors that know what they're doing, there's minimal to no just damage to the existing asphalt. And that's all, and if there is, it's a little bit of hot patch and hot asphalt. you know, it's almost like repairing a street. So I don't see an issue in that, and I don't want to spend millions and millions of dollars. At least that's my personal opinion. I'm sure the residents might agree with that. I mean, for an unfunded mandate, okay, we got to put all these ramps in, we know it.
Right.
There's townships that aren't even doing them.
But we borrowed millions last year to pave roads and didn't do the 88 corners.
That's right.
But
That's right, because our roads haven't been paved for so long, you know, we're waiting 40 years to pave roads.
But perhaps we should have done less and done more to 88 corners.
The 88 corners are going to get done. There's no need to do them all at once. What's the concern?
My concern is I see a neighborhood that we're going to pave this year, which I'm thrilled about, but we're
Right.
not going to do the 88 corners.
Right. And
It just makes no sense to me.
It's not senseless. Because the roads are more important than the 88, no, they're equally important, but the roads are in disrepair. The 88 corners will follow right behind them. So it's not really, it's not an issue. It's not an issue of damaging the paved road either, because we'll have quality people that are going to do the work.
Right.
Okay? And if it is, then we'll address that, but I've seen this done before, and it's minimal. So I'd rather see some roads paved and backfill the ramps, because that'll just follow up right behind it. So when we're driving down the road, we're not avoiding potholes and roads in disrepair. You know, we have a nice program set up here. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt
That's
you.
all right.
Sorry, we've had this conversation a million times, so.
I warned Andrew it would happen,
Yeah.
so he-
I factored that into my timing here.
we are completely
Wow.
prepared for
You
this.
can come up here.
He's a quick learner.
To get to the paving program now, the last evaluation of the roads was done by the previous director in 2016. He had established a 5-year program. Last year, you basically completed his entire 5-year program, so I had the luxury of coming in here last April, seeing what was done, being able to use his evaluation to then not reinvent the wheel, but then kind of move forward from where his initial plan was. In doing so, Norristown Road, when I spoke to him, was one that he wished would have been done last year, so that was kind of my starting point for where I was this year. So taking Norristown Road, north and south, both sides. The north side, no handicap ramps. The south side is only going to have handicap ramps that we would have installed this year already as part of the 2021 program, with an addition of potentially 2 ramps. The other ramps were done by the Christ Home neighborhood. In an attempt to minimize mobilization fees, I didn't want to jump all over the township. I know some residents are going to say, well, I think my road's worse than that road. But based on trying to minimize the mobilization costs from the contractor, because every time they jump their equipment from one place to another using a tri-axle truck or whatever, it's downtime, they're going to add money right to their price. So the contractor can work in this Anthony Wayne Fitch neighborhood, I guess would be the Hartsville East neighborhood. The handicap ramps are already completed. That will then almost complete all of Sector 1 with Norristown and that neighborhood. Contractor can then move south, doing this neighborhood, and then working into the avenues, the section in green. Again, no handicap ramps in that neighborhood, no handicaps being added to what was already on the list from 2021. So basically, I just established the road program for 2022 to be able to move in either a north-south direction by the contractor without high expectations for mobilization fees, and also minimizing the amount of ramps that we'd be adding to the 2021 program. So we'll be doing approximately 24 roads at 6.5 miles of roads this year.
Okay, I know there's a little bit of a caveat there as well.
You know, it depends on, obviously, what the bids come in. I think Andrew's being conservative, which I think he should be, and like we've done many years, if the bids come in a little low, we can add to that. So I just don't like to, I don't think Andrew wants to either overpromise and underdeliver, so hopefully, you know, that can get words up of maybe 8 miles. Again, if things go well, you know, in the township with the budget, there's always room for us to, you know,
Right.
get more direction and add more ramps and add more miles. So I think it went very well last year. I mean, the more you do, the more competitive prices we get. So we're a large township with a lot of roads, a lot of miles. Hopefully you get a really good price, and we can even do more. But I think this is a good starting point, given the budget.
I agree. And thank you for actually forward-thinking, and both you and Aaron, and coming up with, 5-year look out, and developing these plans, because, the township will function more efficiently when we're not reactive and we're actually proactive. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
And by the way, Mark and I are not arguing here. He's on the infrastructure committee as well, and, we may come up with we're going to have this conversation, and we may wind up doing more handicap ramps and some more paving. It's just nice to have a third of the township's roads, which is, 111 miles, I believe? If we can get to a third of them done in 3 years, that's one heck of an achievement. So we're not, eventually, in your plan, I'm sure, once we start getting the majority of the roads that need to be serviced and repaved, then that number will come down every year and be much more manageable. So, great job, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrew.
Mr. Chairman, I
That'll
just-
go out for bid right away, though,
I was
right?
just ready to ask,
That's my-
maybe Aaron could just step up, and I think she has tentative dates.
All right, Aaron.
You're not off the hook yet, Aaron.
I knew
Step
I was
on
going to
up
get
there.
asked. I tried
Yeah,
to
welcome
jump
to
in.
the fire.
Worst things have happened. So we are currently working on the survey and design of the curb ramps for phase 1 of the 2021 paving program, and we anticipate the paving program and the curb ramp contract to be bid at the end of January, beginning of February, with a bid opening in the middle of February, and hopefully presenting you with an award, the option to award the contract at the first
So-
meeting in March.
We'll be paving roads before November again. That's good. to
Yeah,
hear.
how about that?
That's good to hear.
Great. I know our residents are so excited about the roads, because I heard so many comments over the summer. I can't believe how many roads got paved. I said, yep, we've got a plan going on here, so
Yes.
thank you so much. You guys are doing a great
I said,
job.
I didn't have an issue with that. My issue was that we borrowed a ton of money to do all that paving and didn't do the corners. Maybe we should have done less paving and done the corners
Well,
along with it. That was just,
there's still money in that capital reserve, Mark, and we'll talk about that at the infrastructure.
Monday.
Monday, that's right.
We'll talk Monday.
We can hash this out
Yes.
on Monday. There's also the federal money, too. I mean, we'll talk about what's available to us, and maybe we will get them all done, who knows? But to me, it just doesn't make sense to spend all your resources for something that's an unfunded mandate. Okay. Anything else?
No, we're good.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the meeting on Monday.
thank you, Aaron.
Said you didn't want to be there, but I don't know. Okay. Now we go to land use matters.
Yes,
We'll turn this over to, our Solicitor Scott.
yeah, we have two land use matters, both are preliminary and conditional preliminary and final land development. The first one on your list here tonight is Street Road Industrial Park Lot 415. This is the application, of Low Court LLC. It's parcel number 490978-15, and I believe the engineer is here on behalf of the applicant.
Yes. Excuse me, good evening. My name is Larry Byrne. I'm a professional civil engineer. We prepared the plan for Lot 15 of the Street Road Industrial Park for the owner, Lou Costa, in the back there. What we're here this evening for is preliminary final plan approval for this land development. It's, I guess I'm going to try to keep it kind of brief, but it's a 16,000 square foot light industrial building with 6 individual flex space units within it. There's 2 access ways from Nina Drive. If I can get my, oh, there it goes. This is Nina Drive. Oh, no, it's John, right? Could you maybe slide down to sheet 12? It's the overall, there's an aerial. Yeah, this is This is the Street Road Industrial Park. Mearns Road is right over here. These are existing buildings. Lou, Mr. Costa, he recently constructed this building here, and he also owns a couple buildings across the street, so he's, heavily involved in Warminster Township, especially with these light industrial buildings. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview, and right next to this lot here, this is the large regional detention basin that was constructed as part of the original Street Road Industrial Park. So our project is this parcel right here.
Larry, can I interrupt you 1 second?
Sure.
Is there a condominium association who owns that basin, or maybe,
This existing basin?
yeah, do you know the ownership of that? Does Mr. Hankin own that
It's-
outright, or is it,
It's actually, I don't know, I was hoping you could tell me.
no,
But,
I was.
no, it's, I believe Hankin still owns it.
Okay.
But the deed is, it's like the Bucks County Industrial
Yes.
Authority
Yeah,
in the name of it, but there's so many different transactions throughout
that's fine.
the
I thought
years.
maybe you guys would know, and
I believe it's Hankin that owns it.
we have the same issues, so.
Yeah. Is that true, Lou? I mean, as far as you know,
I believe it is, yeah, but it is.
Okay,
Bucks County Industrial Authority, I believe, is
okay.
the title owner.
Okay.
But it's, there's numerous transactions when we did the title report going back to the
That's right.
70s.
I know you would have done that, and,
Yeah, we did a title report. There's a lot going on for this.
okay, that's fine. I didn't mean to
industrial
get off on that.
park. Okay. But I just wanted to give you like the aerial overview so you can kind of see where we're at. We're right in the middle of the industrial park. And like I said, here's our lot, and Mearns Road is like right about here. So, as I said, Lou, Mr. Costa, recently built this one here just a couple of years ago. He also built these across the street, which is where his office is. So like I said, he's very involved with Warminster Township, plans to do even more business here. So. But
He
if-
doesn't want to do our plowing anymore, though, right, Lou? I don't blame you.
I don't know anything about plowing. But, maybe you could just maybe slide back to that sheet one, John. So this is the project. It's about a 1.4 acre lot. New industrial building, light industrial, as I said, with 6 individual units. And there's accesses on either side. This side here would be where the offices are and parking for the offices. And this side here, they would have overhead doors and garages to access it. So it's basically it. It's very similar to the other industrial buildings that are immediately adjacent to it in the industrial park. We have received review letters from the township engineer. We had revised the plans to address those comments. We resubmitted them back to the township. We received recommendation from the Township Planning Commission for preliminary final approval with some conditions of, addressing the comments in the engineer's letter, which we have done. And we received another review letter dated January 13th. It's all basically all will complies, and just a list of some waivers that are going to be requested. More than happy to go over the letters if you want, or if we could just, go right to the, there was a resolution, draft resolution provided to us by the solicitor. We reviewed it, the owner reviewed it. We don't have any questions about it.
All right,
Everything's a will comply, so.
And that's what Scott said. So, no, we're good. I have no other issues. In fact, I want to thank everybody for, we got some feedback after planning commission, so we worked pretty hard with the applicant and the engineer to revise the plans, reduce the waivers, address some stormwater concerns that the township had. That's why there's a mention of another review that was only, I think, a week ago. So we turned that around for this meeting tonight. I have no concerns. It's a very standard project, like the other projects that Mr. Byrne mentioned. So it's ready for your purview, and I think I'll turn it over to Scott to just go over the resolution.
One more just mention, I will, mention that this project does have its own stormwater management facilities that complies with the township stormwater management ordinances as well as Sullivan. We have an underground basin in the front, and we're also gonna have a bioretention rain garden in the back. So we're self-managing our own stormwater on this property and not relying on things that were done in the past.
Excellent. I'm
Yeah.
sure the people in Twin Streams will appreciate that.
Right.
Yeah, we, like I said, we are managing our own
Yeah,
stormwater.
I'm glad to hear that.
And every
Thank you.
project been coming in like that has been
Yeah.
doing that the same, so.
We'd be giving thumbs up, I gotta be happy.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Before we go through the motion, can I ask a couple questions?
Yep, yeah, it's time for your consideration.
Okay, so, the adjacent property, what is it, TMP 49-9-78-41? Where is that? Is that the drainage basin?
This one here,
Yeah.
Well, it says here, number
TM,
9,
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
22-518.6.
this one here, that's the adjacent detention basin, yes.
Okay, so, you're talking about regrading?
Well, yeah,
I mean, are you deepening it?
no, there's, can you slide to maybe sheet 2? Right here, this is the existing grades, contours on the plan as they are now. All right, this is a pile of dirt, and there's also a large pile of dirt here, and this is a pile of dirt. Evidently, when the owner of this detention basin, I guess Hankin, did some corrective work to it years ago, he basically scraped out the dirt and piled it all on this lot. And that was because he owned that lot. And Lou had purchased the lot from Hankin just, last year. So this dirt is here, and in order to construct the site, we just need to do some modification to these grades, basically spread out the dirt, or remove some or add some.
So you're going to spread it out on your own site?
Oh, yeah, we're doing very, very minimal work on the detention
Okay.
basin.
Yes.
Well, the reason I say that is that it says here, from the owner of this parcel, indicating that the proposed improvements and related grading on the property is acceptable.
Correct.
So that's your own property?
No, that's this basin property here, that's the property owned by Hankin.
Okay.
Well, they
I
want-
will say
So
that,
it goes back to my question, what are you grading over there? That's the stormwater basin.
it's,
He's
we're
tying in, the-
removing this pile of dirt, see this, all these contours here?
Yeah, I see.
That's a pile of dirt. We're basically just removing that pile of dirt, which is going over the property line here.
I see, okay.
So this is the property line, so we
Yeah.
have
He's
to
not touching
grade
the
within
basin.
5
Yeah,
feet of the
okay.
property in order to flatten that out.
No, I just, that's fine. It's hard to see from here, but it's
Yeah,
like
it's
right on the
not-
edge of the property line. So is some of his
Dirt.
soil. We call it soil in geology.
Soil,
I don't know how the engineers call it.
we would call it dirt.
Okay.
No,
Anyhow, that's fine. I just, that was my, and
Do
the,
we know if that basin is functioning properly?
well, that's something that,
Yeah,
there's some issues out there, and we have to
Dump
talk
dirt
about
in it,
this. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that all goes back to when we dedicated the roads.
Yep.
But that's
like, I don't
for
think we were made,
discussion.
when whatever was just described that he did, that didn't go through my office or the township.
Right.
So that was something he did on his own. I mean,
Oh,
that's
And
not
I don't
uncommon
see any
either, but-
documentation on that from way back when either. Some sort of agreement that exists somewhere that we can't seem to locate. All right, well, I'm okay with that. Just one last thing that, okay, so who owns the drainage swale behind in the back where you want to put the rain garden?
Well, we're not putting the rain garden in the drainage swale.
Okay,
There's an easement in this drainage swale here that we're basically just leaving alone. We're not going to, fill in the swale like the other developed lots adjacent to it here. They actually filled that swale in and piped it. Our proposal is just to leave the swale open. No, maybe you can slide to sheet 3. Kind of busy looking plan.
yeah,
with the
that's
storm.
okay.
But this is the swale here, we're gonna leave that as is, and then this is the rain garden, bioretention basin.
Okay.
So,
They have to maintain their own property. It's
Yeah.
just for water to flow from one lot to the next. There were a couple applicants that got either zoning relief or waivers, they could fill it in. But the water still flows where it's piped or a ditch.
Right.
Across each lot back there into that basin, but they all have to maintain their own. There's no
Yeah.
overall entity.
the easement's there just so you can't block off the water flow. And
Right.
We're maintaining
Which
that
has
water-
happened in our township before, I just, okay, no, that's fine, they were the only two questions I have, and you know, another thing is, it's really nice to see an industrial, commercial building. You guys seem to have gone above and beyond for the stormwater control, which is really a big problem in this township, which is why I question that, you know, it's nice to see that you guys are taking the extra steps here with rain gardens and
Yeah. Like I said,
underground basins.
Rain garden here, bio basin, and in the front here is a underground chamber system.
Yeah, great,
So-
thank you.
Just
They were
have
the
one
only
more-
questions
just
I
have
had.
one more question. The spaces, do you have any leases for the spaces yet?
I
Lou?
don't know.
Nothing yet, Lou? No? I don't think you'll have any problem, Lisa. I was just wondering if you had anybody on the hook yet.
Yeah. Okay.
We appreciate you coming. You've been a good businessman here with Warminster, and we appreciate your additional business, and welcome again.
Any other questions?
Nothing, none, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Well, Craig says it's okay, and Ken says it's okay. You know it is.
Well, I rely on our staff.
So if there's no other questions or comments from the board, a motion is appropriate. And once we have a motion, we can open up for public comment.
Motion.
Second. Go ahead, Janice.
Motion is to approve the final and preliminary and final plan for
Conditional approval.
the conditional approval for Lot 15 Nina Way. Okay, so Kathy motion, Mark second. Oh,
Janice.
Janice motion?
Janice, second.
We were in start.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
preliminary final, right?
Preliminary
Yeah,
and final.
preliminary-
Very final.
Conditional, right?
Conditional, preliminary, and final, yes.
Yes, okay. All right, any more questions from the board?
No.
Any from the public? Okay, I guess being none, we'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Very much.
Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Lou, thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, I got it.
You did get it? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And Mr. Costa, you just come up and sign the resolution is all. It'll be over here with John.
Okay, one other land use in the same area.
Yes.
Go ahead, Scott.
All right, yes, this next one is, the applicant is Rudolph Enterprises LLC. Today is not a good talking day for me, I apologize. It's 440 Nina Way. This one is two lots, lots 19 and 20 in the same subdivision. They're seeking conditional preliminary and final land development and subdivision approval. This is both a lot consolidation as well as a land development. I believe we have,
Nick Rose from Protract Engineering. I am the engineer for the applicant, and actually members of the Rudolph family are here with me. Yes, I could give you a brief introduction if you'd like. This is at 440 Nina Way, so at the top of the sheet you see Nina Way, on the left is Mearns Road. We're actually opposite Penrose, but you may never see this building because there are a lot of trees in between there. And what is proposed is, you see the cross-hatched area is an addition that's roughly similar in size to the existing building. They just need a little more space there. Their parking is sufficient, so there's no additional parking needed. They are doing, as with Larry, they're doing their own stormwater management on this site. It's a little over 2 acres, and actually they currently own 2 lots, so they are consolidating those together into 1 lot, as your solicitor mentioned. There are 4 waivers that we are requesting, which I saw in the resolution that we were able to review. So both our office and the applicant have no issues with the resolution. We did submit once, got some reviews back. We took care of the zoning comments from the zoning officer, and we responded to the engineering comments. And what's left in the latest letter from Gilmore will comply, so we don't have any issue with any of those comments. So that's all I have by way of introduction. It's a very simple project. It's just a relatively small addition to a building that's already existing at Nina and Mearns.
I'll jump in. I
Go ahead, Craig.
hate to be redundant, but again, I know the applicant's very anxious to order the building. Maybe he has by now, I'm not sure. But I know this process is lengthy, just even for addition, but staff worked with their professionals. We have it down to a very clean letter, so I have no other issues. I don't know if you mentioned what the existing use is, maybe I missed it.
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay.
What's the existing use?
It's a marketing company in there right now. I don't know if you want the mic to come up or,
Or you can just
No,
tell
it's
us-
fine. It's just-
just tell us what the existing, what kind of business you guys in?
Yeah, we're a distributor, we sell to car dealerships nationally, and it's basically just going to be used for storage. We're not going to be bringing any more people in, we just have no room to put. We're growing a lot, and we just have no place to go.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, so.
not too fast.
They're really not making any changes to the site, just the
Right.
addition, so
Okay.
I have no other comments, and it's ready for your consideration tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at these 3 waiver requests, and I really don't have any issues with it. They're going to do soil permeability and separation from limiting zones and to that nature. I'm okay with it, Craig, and you seem to be, you and Aaron are okay with
Yep,
it?
we're good, it's ready,
Okay.
ready for your consideration.
All right, so motion to, what's this one?
I'll motion.
Again, same thing, conditional.
Preliminary. final.
Conditional preliminary final land development approval for, what is it, 19 Nina Way? 440 Nina Way, I'm sorry. Okay, so Judy, Mark
Resolve
second.
Enterprises.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any from the public? Okay, being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Thanks
Good,
for
thank
coming
you.
in.
Good luck.
You're welcome.
And we just have someone come up to
Welcome.
sign the resolution. John will have it.
Okay. Let's see now. Public comment. Where's our beloved tax collector? Barbara Loftus, come on up.
Good evening. I'd just like to give a little report about last year. What a phenomenal year we had for Warminster Township for taxes. I sent out over 10,400 bills, and I leaned 68 parcels. 68.
Wow.
We have never in my 22 years, I normally lean about 150.
Wow.
So we really had a very good year. Hopefully, this year's will be the same. I wanted to remind the residents, the new people especially that have moved into the township, that the Homestead, Farmstead applications were mailed out from the courthouse last week. They are due back by March 1st. Anybody that has gotten it last year, if you haven't changed your deed, you don't have to redo it. The only ones that got it are the ones that have not applied for it. It is important. People think because they don't have a farm, they don't qualify. The only qualification for it is your main residence. You own no other houses and you live in it. If you live in it, you qualify. No age restrictions or anything. I also wanted to say that for the rest of January, not tomorrow, and February, because the office is very, very slow, I will be changing my hours. I will work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 to 3. Starting March 1st, when the bills go out, I will go back to my regular hours. I also wanted to tell you that my bond has been approved. It has been filed up at the courthouse. My oath of office has been testified, and that's been up in the office. The only change in my deputy has been approved. I have changed deputies for next year. The Ivy Land Borough Tax Collector, she will be my deputy, and I will be her deputy, because that way we each know what, we can help each other out.
Okay,
And that's all I have.
great.
Bobby, is
thank
that
you,
still
Bobby.
Ms. Finelli?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and again, we can't thank the residents enough for duly paying their taxes. I mean, that
Phenomenal.
affords us the ability to operate, have our police force, and have all our other services that people expect. And, you know, thank you again. I can't stress that enough. That's fantastic news.
It's phenomenal year. I
Yeah.
mean, 68 parcels. As I said, in my 22 years, I have never had that little.
Wow.
So hopefully it's a good things to come.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Great news.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, guys.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening.
Good job, thank you.
Would clap if I could.
Anyone else? Okay, let's move along. Consent agenda. Okay, so Consider approval of the Board of Supervisors minutes dated December 16th, 2021. Consider approval of the Board of Supervisors minutes dated January 3rd, 2022. And consider approval of resolution Bucks 2022-07, Bucks County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second by Janice. Joe, do you want to mention a little bit about the hazard mitigation plan or not? It's entirely up to you. I hate to keep bringing you up here, but you know, we're here.
And I won't be for long. So the hazard mitigation plan, it's an update. It occurs every 5 years, and Mr. Scott participated before with other municipalities. It really provides opportunities for the township to apply for FEMA and PEMA grants. That's what it comes down to. It gives
Great.
us an opportunity to apply for grants. It also makes us look at our vulnerabilities, our hazards, and the risks we have to natural and man-made or human-made catastrophes that occur. The floods that we just had, but also internally, like we have a railroad system that comes through. We have high-hazard facilities along Lewis Drive and Park Avenue. So we look at that kind of stuff and how it impacts the community and what we could do to build or make ourselves stronger to prevent or to improve our recovery process and stuff like that. So that's what this does. This is all based on the plan, and a lot of it's floods too.
Right.
So we have good ordinances, but there's ways we can probably improve them, at least look at them and review them. And that's what this whole mitigation plan. It's a countywide program. It's participation among all municipalities in Bucks County, and we participated in, and that's what you guys are going to vote on. That we're going to adopt it. And we'll move on for the next 5 years in any kind of ways we can help out our residents.
Okay,
All right?
great.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, any questions or comments from the public? Okay, being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Finance report. That would be Mr. McKee.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put out a motion that we approve the bill list dated January 20th, 2022 in the amount of $1,265,558.66.
Okay, motion?
Motion.
I made the motion.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. okay.
second.
Second. All right. Any questions or comments from the public? My only comment would be, it's nice to see that we're paying our bills without beads of sweat coming off our forehead.
Yeah.
So kudos to the board and the people that are our staff. Okay, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. All right. John, you're up.
I know some big shoes to follow after these guys and the road paving and everything else that's going on, but I'll try and keep it interesting. Maybe I'll use the pointer a little bit.
All right.
So looking at the revenues, revenues are still trending way above last year. 832,000, again, this is through the end of November. The December numbers still aren't ready yet. They'll be ready in 2 weeks when we meet again. So it's a 5% increase. Already through November, we're at 105% of budget. And we had another really great month in December for transfer tax. Through November, we're $545,000 above 2020. So our transfer tax has been through the roof. EIT has been really great. That's up $357,000. Mercantile up $166,000. So a lot of really good things on the revenue side. What I wanted to do this month is focus in on the expense side. So this is probably going to be the fastest presentation this board's ever seen, and I really hope you guys enjoy it.
We really appreciate that.
Yes. So looking at the expenses, this is all just the general fund. There was to give you an idea of how many different line items go into our budget every single month and throughout the year, we had 120 different accounts that had increases. This is varying from 1 cent up to a couple $100,000. So we're going to go through these. The first one, auditing services. They were up $25,650. Looking at this was because of how late the 2019 audit was done. That wasn't done till 2021. So we paid for part of the 19 and all of the 20 within this year, so that's why that went up. Planning services, 26,200. This is because we need to bring in a consultant to make sure that the land development projects, to make sure nothing was missed and projects kept moving forward. Now, this is where we start seeing some sticker shock. The total wages and salaries in the general fund alone went up 557,000. And now, we did not have extra employees. The main reason that happened, I know the chief's not paying attention, but the police wages alone went up 369,000. This is because the contract expired, the old contract expired January 31st of 2020. So all of 2020 was based on the 2019 pay rates. So the 2021 pay scale was based on a 2-year increase over what was paid in 2020.
Right.
So, and all of these were budgeted. There was a separate line item for these adjustments. So this is what we expected. It is just kind of like, oh, wow, look at these numbers. They're a little out of the ordinary.
Right.
So the good news, we had 144 accounts that had decreases.
Yay.
So.
These are all general fund, correct?
Yeah, this is all general fund.
Right.
So when we start looking at, we got 100, what was it, I'm sorry, 120 and 144, we're talking about almost 300 different accounts within the general fund. So again, I'm just gonna focus on the real big ones. The first one, legal services, down 37,200. I really believe most of this is because we weren't going through negotiations in 2021. The police contract, most of that was negotiated. It wasn't settled to 2021, but most of the negotiations happened in 2020. Oh, too much. Accounting, contracted accounting services. The finance director left in 2020. So we had half a year of having used consultants. Mr. Wiesner and Major Mastro came in and helped keep that department running. So that's why these were able to decrease so much from 2020 to 2021. Contracted services with Keystone. These are just decrease in inspection services. I know this year there wasn't a big inspection services for fire, so I think this is going to be that's the main reason that there was a decrease there. Engineering services. I think this is because of a different way of accounting for the engineering cost. We've been putting most of this towards our capital so that we're capturing for the park project and the roads program, all of it's going to capital. So we're going to capture the full cost of those projects and depreciate them over time, where I think most of those costs were left in the general fund in prior years.
So can I stop you right there?
Yes.
John, please? Because this has always been something that I noticed because, when I first got here, unbeknownst to our staff, that I know how to read a spreadsheet, and I never could understand why we didn't apportion whatever project or whatever our staff was working on to that fund. And now I see we're doing that, and well, how about that? So we're actually,
Yep. And at the end of the day, it's when we say the park project costs this, it does include engineering, it includes legal, it includes as much as
as
possible.
it should.
Yes, it
Right.
should.
So this is what was a strain, and I noticed this immediately when I took office, that this was one of the, although we understand where a lot of the expense goes, but this was another issue that needed to be addressed. So, again, thank you for taking care of that.
Cut
because-
back on expenses, and that's what.
Well, the general fund doesn't,
Fund.
is not the
The bearer of all
the
the.
bearer of all the open checkbooks, that's
Right.
correct.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Workers' comp insurance, down almost $90,000. We're gonna lump that together with the real big one, medical insurance, down $560,000. The one thing to realize is, again, we didn't cut staff that much to recognize $560,000, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about insurances, and hopefully you guys can get through it without falling asleep. But, so the township does take part of 3 self-insurance pools for workers' comp, health insurance, and property liability. The Delaware Valley Trust were formed starting with the property liability because of a lack of commercial insurers knowing how to handle municipalities. The trusts are governed by boards that are made of trustees from the members. So it's pretty much just insurance for municipalities by municipalities. So it's what we need is what they give us. The one item that all the trusts make available to members is something called rate stabilization funds. And it's use of these funds that is causing the large decrease in that expense. So just to give a little background on this. So every year, all three trusts look at the reserves that they need, and then they return whatever amounts are in excess back to the members, either in dividends, rate stabilization, or both for each individual trust. The rate stabilization funds it's pretty much like a savings account that they're holding that we could draw down on as we need. The additions to the account are based on premiums and utilization. So if you have high premiums and very low utilization, you're given more money back at the end of the day. So for the 2021 budget, Mr. McCauley used all that was available in rate stabilization funds to lower expenses as much as possible, not knowing what kind of situation the township was in because of his late appointment. He used a total of $569,000 in rate stabilization funds. So he was able to lower our expenses by that much right off the top of what would have been premiums. For the 2022 budget, we were able to balance the budget with no use of rate stabilization funds. So the funds will be available for future budgets to go against any large increases that we may recognize in the future.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, what this all means is that when we begin to look at the 2022 expenses compared to the 2021 expenses, we're going to see large increases because we're not using this rate stabilization fund to lower our expenses. The good thing is being in the trust, they're very steady in their rate increases. We have not seen a health insurance increase in 21 or 22. I don't know how many people could say their health insurance hasn't gone up in 2 years.
Right.
So this is the one really great advantage of being in the trust. And not having these increases means, oh, we don't have to use these rate stabilization funds until, all right, when they come back and say, all right, now we're going to raise your rates. All right, let's use it to kind of weather the storm a little bit. So any questions on insurance or where we're at?
No, thank you.
All right, great.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Very much, John.
You're the
Yeah,
man,
thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Unfinished business, we don't have any new business. Okay, board and committee vacancies. These were from leftover from last, at the reorg. So I believe we have one member, one position open for the Environmental Advisory Council. Is there a motion?
I'd like to nominate Tina Carens.
Second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Okay, being as, any questions or comments from the board? Any questions from the public? Only one nomination, do we need to vote?
Yeah.
I'll do it anyway. Okay, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Planning Commission, there's one member open. Is there a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Nicole Rainier.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Judy. Is there any other nominations? Okay, being none, any other questions or comments from the public?
I just have a comment. Nothing against Ms. Rainier whatsoever. I would just much rather prefer Wayne McCulloch be moved up to a voting member and Ms. Rainier be put on as an alternate, just because of Wayne's many, many years on that board and his experience. But, I mean, no issue with Ms. Rainier whatsoever.
Right. Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, so any other questions or comments from the public? All right, we'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Pension, it says here two, but I believe there's only one position open because,
Yeah, I think there was one on the management side open.
right?
If there's only one,
It was, well, we filled, oh, you know what?
Somebody expired that hadn't been accounted for.
On the management side.
No, it was a citizen.
Not Chris Burdick, he's
No,
not.
I think it was Mr. Burdick. I think he expired at the end of '21.
Yeah, but
So
we-
there's two
We appointed
citizens
him in, we appointed him in 2021, oh, so there's two.
So being that we only got a letter, how do you want to do that? You want to table it till next month, or do you want to?
We can vote on the one person who's interested if you want.
Okay. With the chairman's permission, I'd like to nominate John Priovalis.
Okay, I'll second that. Any other questions or comments from the public? So let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All
Thank you.
opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, John.
Thanks for volunteering, appreciate it.
John.
Okay, so there is one other.
Available for next month.
For next month.
We can do in February
Yes.
3rd if need be.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
Golf Advisory Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, this is for citizen advisory.
Citizen Advisor, correct.
Nominate David Martin.
Okay,
Second.
second. Any other nominations?
Like to nominate Charles Vincelette.
He's already. I
Is
think
he
we
already on
appointed
there?
him.
Yeah, I think we already
Yeah,
put
we
him
we
on.
nominated him last time. Yeah,
okay.
I thought we,
Oh,
there was
okay.
one open
Yeah,
and
I think we put him on
All
the
right.
board.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
And this will fill the board.
Is that
fill
true, John?
committee out.
is that
Charles
correct?
Vincelette is already appointed?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, this was the one opening for citizen advisor that'll complete the,
Right, exactly, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. Okay, there's no other nominations. Let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. So there's one pension investment advisory person. I know Mr. Burdick was interested in continuing on when I talked to him at the last meeting, so we'll see what happens. But there's other people that, you know, if they're interested, please send your interest in. Okay, professional reports. Mr. Scott.
Sticking with that theme, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board, the pension board is meeting this month on the 25th, 26th, excuse me, 27th?
27th, it says when you're.
27th, excuse me, Thursday the 27th, at 5 o'clock?
4:30.
4:30. I'll get this right eventually.
Okay. Well, we'll forgive you because you're still.
I'm wearing the wrong glasses.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. The quick turnaround for the Board of Supervisors also, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the next meeting is February the 3rd, switching from the third Thursday for the regular business meeting to the 1st. Anyway, I had a meeting a week and a half ago with Jeff Darwak from the Bucks County Redevelopment Authority discussing Shenandoah Woods. So you have a bit of an update. Their goals in 2022 include getting a bid out for the removal of the asbestos from the houses and having that done prior to the bidding of the demolition of the houses. So they want to have the asbestos project bid and completed, and then bid out the demolition of the houses down to the slab. And in advance of that, given that they may have contractors wanting to go see the site, Andrew McAdams in Public Works went out there and did some clearance on the road. And if it should be overlap with the snow event, there will also be plowing a loop around there so that the people that need to have access to look at the facility can do so. But Jeff had told me that the goal is, by the end of '22, to have the houses all down to the slab level.
That's great news.
Okay. Yeah, I was out there for the original site walk with the Conservation District and Planning Commission, and it's a long time coming. That's all I can say. We've been, how many years, Mark? Kathy?
At
As
least
long as
12.
I've lived here.
Right.
Forever.
At some point, I'd like to do some type of research and see what we spent on legal fees, because we pay the legal fees for the redevelopment authority too, as this goes on.
And the
Right.
Horsham Authority as well.
The $1 million that we need to be reimbursed from the government for the purchase of that property,
Right.
I'd love to do some research and see what we spent on legal fees. I'll bet you it's $1 million we've spent on
Yeah, that's
legal
a good
fees.
point.
I wouldn't doubt it,
And we
Mark.
should be reimbursed by the federal
I
government.
agree.
We should.
I agree.
Now
Okay, is
try
that
and
it, Tom?
collect.
Yeah.
Yes, one other thing, if I may, we're trying to put together something for a presentation from Steve Wiesner, who this is the board's first meeting without Steve in a while, and I think everybody's doing great. Thank you. And, but he does have one or two, actually has three projects he's still wrapping up, since he's transitioned now over to those last couple of things, including the establishing the trust, the $1.5 million trust for the other post-employment benefit trust. So he's going to give a brief discussion to both the pension board and then to the board of supervisors, an update and a rehash at the meeting on February the 3rd. He's also working with we've got a very, across the board, a spectrum of actors on this for the swale issue in the neighborhood.
Kimberly Road.
Kimberly Road. We have a hearing in front of the district justice coming up. Steve's been working with our friends at the authority and with L&I and with Gilmore to get that squared away. We're hoping that the district justice will approve the plan that everybody has come up with, and so Steve is still carrying the ball on that. And hopefully by February the 3rd, we'll have something to report on that, because that hearing is scheduled for the same week that I butchered earlier.
I'm sure that the neighbors in our neighborhood are very happy because this has been going on for many, many years. And Steve Wiesner took the bull by the horns when I told him, went through the whole process because it's been going on many, many, many years. And now to finally have some type of resolution to those residents, I really appreciate that. And I know they do too. Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Steve has put a lot of sweat equity into it, and so are our friends from the authority.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Who's next? I think it's Scott.
Yep, just to follow up on what Tom was saying, yeah, that hearing is next Wednesday morning. So we should have a resolution. Basically, the idea is with the help of the authority, they put together a plan, they'll get the work done. Our engineer will inspect, and that should put an end to this issue. And we got that, well, I shouldn't say it should put an end to the issue. It should help some of the issue that's going on, because there's other issues there as well with drainage, so.
Right.
But, so it won't put an end to it, but it'll at least get us going in the right direction.
Good.
The only thing else I have to report is after last month's meeting, the first meeting of the month, Tom finalized all the paperwork and we sent it off to the state for all the opioid settlements. Our counsel for the township here also serves as counsel for Bucks County. I haven't confirmed it with him yet, but he was pretty confident that every Bucks County municipality was participating. And as I discussed previously, the more municipalities, the more entities of Pennsylvania that participate, the more money the state gets. The more money the state gets, the more they're able to divvy up amongst us. So it's good news that we're moving along in that direction. Again, those were for the Janssen entities. That's Johnson & Johnson as the one producer, as well as the distributors. Coming down the line, there's still Purdue Pharma and the Malincdrite producers as well. They're coming up next. So obviously the Purdue Pharma one is still, there's some bankruptcy litigation up in New York going on, so that's why that one's been held up for, I guess it's been about a year now since they presented their bankruptcy plan. So, but I think we should be getting those pretty soon as well.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. And as always, last but not least.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have our January engineers report. I won't discuss any more about the road program, but as keeping Aaron, myself, and I've gotten to know Mr. Scott very well over the last few weeks. And but you know what? A good team here, and I think last year as well, Andrew's been tremendous help for that road. He's taken on a lot more. I think people lean on us a little too much, and he's taken that, the engineer, all the estimates. He's doing all that work that the staff didn't do before. So that's reducing costs as well. The more you guys can do and less guidance we do, saves you guys money. So Andrew's been great. The one big project that I know I get a lot of calls on, the Pine Grove residential subdivision proposal by Toll Brothers. I know that was been quite a while since they've been in front of anybody. I think Planning Commission, that's over on 1475 West County Line Road behind the cemetery. They went to Planning Commission. They promised some meetings with residents. A lot of stuff has happened. We did another review. They were not happy with the last review. They're still trying to make a decision whether to move forward. So I don't think you'll see that, as I said a couple meetings ago, that you would see it. They we're going to request a staff meeting here soon, and at corporate level, decide whether to move forward. I think they're realizing it's maybe, the yield is not there compared to the cost of developing that site. So when I know for a fact that they've withdrawn their application, I will obviously notify everybody, and you may hear that first from Mr. Scott. But right now, they're still on the fence whether to move forward.
Okay.
All right. The other big job we have is Warminster Center at Street and Norristown Road. That's a vacant parcel across from, I guess that's Pep Boys there at the intersection. Out of the blue, we got a submission for preliminary plans. We had done some sketches. They came in front of you. You said you'd like to see a by right plan.
Yeah.
I think that meant just zoning is okay, but there's a list of waivers a mile long. They did not sign, I think, the extension for a 90-day waiver, so we're under a clock. It will be a very thorough and lengthy review, I'm sure, based on the proposal, because it looks different. There's still retail buildings that still Sprout shopping center, or Sprout grocery stores there. All the drive-through of fast foods went away, which caused a lot of the zoning relief. So it's going to be restaurants or retail use. They don't say what it is. They reduced the driveway, so they did eliminate the zoning, but it may go to planning commission. I assume it may be a couple reviews before you see it, but I'm sure people start seeing activity and hear about it. But it's a commercial, basically shopping center, different pad sites. It's not all one building. It's broken into several, and they just came in and submitted and said, we're ready to go without any real communication over the last couple months. So.
And have they signed professional services agreements?
Oh, yeah.
Proper.
Oh, they did everything.
Yeah,
They
they
dotted
did.
every
That
I
was
and
the
T.
best
It's
one.
just typically I get calls, I've been working with them for the last year or so, and they really thought that we would support them more at the board level, and you said you'd like a by right plan. So Mr. Weiser and I had a meeting with the actual owner is Christ Home. We had a meeting with their COO, and he wanted our side of the story, and he allowed them to extend, or they did an extension of the due diligence days to submit these plans. So,
Okay,
all right, so that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Craig.
All right. Upcoming agenda items. I think you went through all that already.
I do have one or two,
Okay.
if the board will indulge me.
Go right ahead.
Of course.
Upcoming, I'm not sure what the date is, but Mr. Kennard and I are going to have something to say with regards to Ann's Choice with their punch list that has been rattling around for quite some time. We want to make sure we give you the update on that once we, I think we've sent it to the,
I actually made a call today.
Okay.
The gentleman representing Erickson mailbox was full. I couldn't leave a message, so I will now, when I have time tomorrow, email. They've been
Is that
called.
on that Chestnut Point project?
No, the Ann's
No.
Choice, no, Neighborhood 4.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
the one they did, that's a couple of years ago now.
they have
Right.
approval. They have $2.6 million posted for escrow,
Right.
and they don't want to move forward, but they started doing stuff on the property over the last several
Oh,
years.
okay.
And it's at the point where we need to have some legal action done, or
Okay.
where they need to come back in and get reapproval to what they want to do. They did a little bit of the parking, there's storage, there's,
I thought there was open items on that Chestnut Point, the one that was just completed with the
No.
original. That's which one I thought you were referring to.
so I'm trying to facilitate them understanding where we're at and what we're gonna, next steps we're gonna take with you. It's gonna land on your lap.
Okay. All right, anything else, Tom?
we're going to be looking at talking to the board with regards to a proposed LED and pole replacement project for Werner Park.
Okay.
So we're
It's a
meeting
long
February.
time coming, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Okay.
February 3rd, we're meeting, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Excited to hear that. That's good news.
February 3rd, 7 PM. For everyone that's out there. Okay, last round of public comment. John?
John Priolo, 674 Joseph Avenue. I just want to thank the Board of Supervisors and the Township Manager for considering me for that position. It's a big honor for myself. And my family's watching from Kentucky, And I know my mom and dad be proud.
Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
Let's give him a hand.
Thanks, John. All right, anyone else? Okay. I just have final comments. I don't want to leave anybody out, new businesses. We welcome all businesses into Warminster Township. We used to get a list, but maybe we can start that up again. But the Aldi has opened up as well. So we welcome them to the community as well. To be fair, you know, I didn't get an invite to that ribbon cutting. I don't know if
I don't
they had
think
one.
they did one.
I don't think so either.
They don't have any bags for your groceries. They don't have any bags for your groceries, so there's no,
Right,
there's no ribbon going on there, no money in the budget for that.
I did go over because they were supposed to open, and then the store wasn't open, and they postponed it, and I came back 3 times the same day. But it is now open, I visit it frequently.
Yeah,
Now, my wife and I went over and took a walk through, it's a nice store.
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
nice
Nice
store.
employees as well.
My husband loves it.
So, again, welcome to the community. And one last thing, I'd like to shout out to our Scott's boss, our other solicitor, Randy Flagger. I know he came down with COVID, and he was doing well last week, and then he kind of, he had to take it easy. So best wishes to you, Randy, and your wife, Sherry, and, you know, speedy recovery, and we'll see you soon. That's all I have. Kathy?
Yes, I'd like to thank all of our professionals, all our staff, our fellow supervisors. You know, the past 2 years, we've worked really, really hard to get to a point now. We've got Tom at the helm, taking over where Steve's left off, and seeing all these positive things happen in the township with our stormwater, with our municipal authority, with our, I can go on and on. Our general fund, all our finances, decrease in a lot of our services. A lot of very positive things happening in the township. It's due to all of you and everybody here. I want to thank all the staff for everything that you do. I also want to thank everyone for all their thoughts and prayers and good wishes while I'm recuperating from shoulder fracture surgery. So I thank everybody for their patience and kindness. And that's it, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Kathy. And just to, I know what you meant, but we didn't decrease our services, we decreased the cost of providing those services.
Did I tell you
I'm sure someone was ready to put a letter in right now.
I'm going through major therapy, guys. Give me a break.
Okay, thanks, Kathy.
Sorry about that.
All
Thank
right,
you.
go ahead, Mark.
Kathy, I'm glad you're doing better. When you first got the injury, I called you, she said, will you please call and cheer me up? So I made sure I called her after happy hour.
You did.
For a couple of laughs. I hope it was therapeutic.
It was very therapeutic.
Excellent. And you know, it was terrific tonight, the road program presentation. I like doing that every year so the public knows what we're doing. But I mentioned it, I'm so pleased that this goes out for bid so early. I'm going back maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and somehow the bids got wrapped around the axle with the responsible contract ordinance. Anyway, Mr. Kennard and I are playing in a park and rec golf outing. It was like in October, mid of October, and they're paving roads adjacent to the golf course. And I'm saying to Craig, they should be doing that in August, right? He said, Ed, we're 2 weeks away from not being able to do it at all. So I'm really, really pleased to be able to see this go out for bid now, and I think we really have that under control.
And it's the second time, you know, last year we did the same thing, and the earlier you get the bids out, the better your pricing.
Right.
It's that simple. So, you know, that's again, kudos to our staff, Mark, I agree.
And just a quick reminder, Thursdays, January 27th and February 3rd, from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m., Warminster Community Park, free test kits for COVID. If you need a test kit, I know it's 2 weeks from now, but still.
Starts at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Please stop by and pick up test kits. They're available to the public for free. And as far as COVID goes, I think hopefully we stick with what we're doing for another few weeks, and we'll ride the crest of that wave and be able not to have to wear these anymore in our public buildings and all, hopefully in the coming months.
Let's hope so.
I see the numbers are stabilizing. Hopefully I see them coming down. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
we got to stick with what we're doing.
Yeah, stay with the program.
Stick with it. you know.
All right.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mark. Go ahead, Judy.
Oh, I just want to thank everybody for all their participation today. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nobody can usually hear me with this on. And I want to tell people to just stay warm out there. It's really cold. We do have a blue code shelter. If somebody's picked up and it's like under 30 degrees, they can go to, take them to the Presbyterian Church on Meeting House Road and Bristol Road. That's a blue code designation. And I want to thank everybody for staying. I want a special especially acknowledge Pat Boyle, who is a resident, who is very interested in township business and is here every week, no matter what, every meeting. So thank you, Pat, for that.
Yes, he does. He said, I'll be here if you need any help.
And is that cross knit or crochet?
That's crochet.
Crochet. Yeah, she
But
does
she's like
blanket after
Madam-
blanket after blanket.
She's
during our
like
meetings.
Madame Lafarge, you know, any minute she's going to say, guillotine. That's it.
It's amazing how much you accomplish in a meeting.
That's how I get it done.
I mean, it's this big, and then, you know, you've completed a big.
Quite honestly, if the meetings in 2018 and 2019, she could have done about 3 blankets.
That's right.
I used to be here till 11:30 at night. But okay, go ahead, Janice.
I'm just excited to be here. It's been nice to get out and meet some of the people within our community. I want to thank our roads crew that did an amazing job in the last couple winter experiences we've had. Hopefully, we have minor ones like we continue to have today. I just want to thank all the hardworking staff of our township that work really hard, the library and Public Works, as well as the guys here at the office and ladies. And I'd like to meet all the residents at some point in time, so my goal is to meet all of you, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Careful what you wish for, you might have a few at the podium.
As a matter of fact, I can guarantee you'll have a few at that podium.
You got a few you don't want to see.
That's okay.
Can I just make one more shout out to Randy Flager? I'm really sorry to hear that he has COVID. My entire family had it except me last week,
Oh.
which is by some miracle, except I was spraying everybody with Lysol in the house, you know, but I just
Okay, as long as it
stayed
wasn't
away from,
bleach.
but I just feel his pain. My son is still suffering. He is still, he's better, he's negative, but he still hurts. He's tired because he has diabetes. So it's really serious. People need to take precaution. I know people are relaxing, but this Omicron virus is so contagious. It stays in the air longer than Delta virus did, than the other one did. And 6 feet is not even enough anymore. So be careful out there. Don't go into crowds. Stay healthy. All right.
All right, thanks, Judy. All right, any other comments? All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
There we go. Thank you much. Be safe.